Hey everyone, welcome to the Data on Kubernetes Explorers Day. I'm really excited to present, and it's so nice to see how far the community has come now. I remember still I used to, you know, work with Bart when we were like launching the new interns and stuff. Shout out to Kunal Verma, Vanshika, and Kevalia, and everyone else who were like the very first ones. And now I see this on social media how the program has grown quite a lot, and you're helping so many other people. So excited for this and amazing event, amazing initiatives by the OK for the student community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences and basically share some of the mistakes to avoid, some of the tips when getting involved in communities, and my biggest learnings as well. So before we get started, let me share a little bit more about why you should get involved in communities. So if you're a beginner, not just let's say a student, but let's say a beginner, you're looking for a job in tech and you're looking to, let's say, enhance your experiences, you're looking to get some feedback on your projects, you're looking to build your profile, portfolio, a resume, and all sorts of things. Getting involved in communities can help you quite a lot. And the amazing thing that has happened in the past few years is the more awareness around folks working remotely, because this gives companies an opportunity to hire global talent. And if you're from a country where let's say there are not many in-person opportunities, or there's like a lower pay, for example, working for a country, like a global company in some other country, oftentimes can be a little bit well, to be honest, pretty amazing. Again, I give an example. Let's say you're working from India for a company based in the US. So the amount of, let's say, the salary that you get, and the people that you get to collaborate with from like a global community, and I think it's really awesome. And um, yeah, getting involved in open source and communities can basically help you in getting there, is basically what I'm saying. So ideally, in order to get started, you have to identify, first of all, which community do you want to be a part of, what do you want to contribute in, what are your interests, and find the communities that align to those interests. I think that's a good way to start. Now, where do we find these communities? Good question. You can find them in open source, like open source projects. You can go to GitHub, you can go to just Google some GitHub projects according to your tech stack. Okay, find projects in Java that are open source projects, and you'll find, okay, found this community. Like, for example, I just Googled Java open source projects when I was in freshman year, and I found Red Hat middleware. So you just Google like monitoring and distributed systems or whatever, like machine learning and like blockchain or like data on Kubernetes, anything you're doing, just Google and you'll find open source projects or communities from that. If that's not going to work for you, it will work because you can find everything on Google. But just in case you need more information, then you can attend events, right? So you can attend KubeCon stuff and DoK events and all sorts of things. Local meetups, go to meetup.com, you can find tech meetups there. From there, you can find experienced people, learn from their experiences, and see like, okay, what are some other communities that I can get involved in. Now, mistakes to avoid. Specifically, also around open source contributions, the biggest mistake that I see people make is not having patience. And you have to realize that the success that you'll get, or the benefit that you'll see via contributing to open source or getting involved in communities, it's not going to happen overnight. When you see someone like, oh, that student is like giving a nice talk at a big tech conference, why can't I do that? So don't have that feeling. Instead of the feeling of competition or jealousy, you should replace that with the motivation and like inspiration. So when you see someone succeed, oftentimes people just ignore the journey and they just see the good things. You cannot even count how many times I have been rejected for a job. So many times. So talked to so many people when I was like in second year or something, got so many rejections. But in the end, what matters is that one acceptance that you get. And then you can scale your career from there and learn as you grow, gain more experiences. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, also personally, that I have made is doing too many things at once. So people often ask me, Kunal, you do so many things. When you were a student, like when I was a student, they used to ask. And to be quite frank, yeah, a little bit of a burnout that happens. Now that I have a full-time job, I'm really focused on the amount of community work that I do. So I'd highly recommend not getting burnout and not doing too many things at once. Instead of putting little efforts everywhere. Ideally, it's great to put a lot of efforts, like give your 100% at some dedicated places. So that way you will have like more impact, is basically what I'm saying. Right. So some of the mistakes to avoid. Three tips if I can give you for getting involved in open source and communities. Let's say you found your community. Tip number one, pretty straightforward and the most important tip: read the code of conduct. It's very important. So I'm just gonna put it there. Code of conduct is like basically like a rules and regulations you have to follow. Uh, Tip number two: research before asking a question. Now this is not just this actually in the end benefiting you only. Okay, because some people are like, hey, I got a message in a Slack channel recently, the Commodore community. Shout out to Commodore. So in the Slack channel, they have a public community. I got a message, hey Kunal, I am stuck in this open source project. Can you please help me out? I was like, okay, I will help you out, but can you please help me out on the page number? I'm not able to understand page number 35 of this book that I'm reading. And that's the only information I will give you. I will not tell you what book I'm reading. I will not tell you what I'm getting stuck on. I will not tell you, what I tried, to resolve that issue and how I'm facing that issue. So in the end, it's going to help you only because if you give enough context in your question, it will make it easier for other people to answer your question. Okay, so research before asking a question and then form your question in a nice way. Hey Kunal or whatever, I'm facing this issue. This is what I tried. This is what it led to. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Do you have any suggestions? And don't like DM people in, like, obviously if you know someone, if it's like a personal thing, you can DM. But for general questions, ask in public. That again will benefit you only because two reasons. More number of people will see that question. And reason number two, if it's already answered, you will get your answer pretty quickly. So that's tip number two. Tip number three is give back. When you reach a certain level, when you're involved in a community, so you're now a maintainer of the open source project that you start contributing to, then I just recommend give back. Give back to the community and give back as much as you can. So those were three tips, that can help you. Again, you can make your own tips, like I said, give back. So you'll have some experiences, you'll have some learning. So share those forward with people. And my biggest learning is that there's no right time to contribute or get involved. You can get involved right now, today. If you don't know anything about, let's say, that core tech stack or whatever, you can get started. As a learner, you can be an advocate. You can do non-code contributions, improve the documentation, start with good first issues, just get started with learning, or just show up, get involved. So yeah, that's basically about it. You can start today. You don't have to be an expert, and you can learn on the go. You can learn while contributing. It's one of the best ways to learn. Hope you have a great time at the event and in the DoK community. If you have any questions, there's the amazing Slack channel in DoK. Again, I have already mentioned how to ask good questions. So hopefully you will ask good, relevant questions with action items or enough research, and make it easy for people to, answer. But yeah, and yeah, that's basically about it. Have a good one. Bye.